It was 7:45 a.m. on Balogun Street when a boy with a head so big it could block the sun walked into the school gate, and every single child scattered like ants at a picnic. That boy was Kelvin Big Dome Adeyemi. And yes, that nickname was earned. His head was so massive that when he wore a cap, it looked like a tiny hat balanced on a watermelon. Kids joked, quietly, very quietly, that satellites could bounce signals off his forehead. But nobody dared joke to his face, because Big Dome was 11 years old, built like a fridge, and had the temper of a wasp that just found out rent was due. Every morning, Big Dome stood by the school gate like a tax collector. "Snack tax!" he'd shout, snatching meat pies right out of smaller kids' hands. He'd taken so many biscuits that the tuck shop owner, Mama Ngozi, started hiding stock under the table like it was contraband. He pushed kids off swings at the playground. He told wild lies to teachers. "Sir, it wasn't me, it was the small boy." And somehow, because of his booming voice and dramatic hand gestures, adults believed him every single time. He even scared Mr. Bassi, the security guard, into skipping the bus queue. "Move, old man, big head coming through," he'd yell, and the crowd would part like he was royalty. By Friday, Big Dome had stolen 4 toy cars, 1 football, 4 meat pies, and somehow convinced a classmate named Wisdom to carry his backpack uphill for a week straight. "One day," whispered the kids at the back of the classroom, "somebody's going to deal with that head." Nobody believed it would happen soon. Nobody believed it would happen at all. Until Tobi showed up. Tobi was the smallest boy in class 5. He wore glasses 2 sizes too big, carried a calculator everywhere, and had never once raised his voice. When Big Dome first saw him, he laughed so hard he nearly dropped his stolen meat pie. "Look at this one now," Big Dome sneered, circling Tobi like a shark smelling fear. The class went silent. Everyone expected Tobi to run, or cry, or beg. Instead, Tobi adjusted his glasses and said calmly, "You know, with a head that size, you probably need extra oxygen. Are you getting enough?" The class gasped. Big Dome blinked. "What did you say?" "Nothing," Tobi said, smiling sweetly. "Just science." For the first time in his bullying career, Big Dome didn't know what to do. Laughing at him hadn't worked. Threatening him hadn't worked. The tiny boy just stood there, calm as a Sunday afternoon. That night, Big Dome couldn't sleep. He kept hearing "just science" echo in his massive skull. The next day, determined to restore his terrifying reputation, Big Dome cooked up his biggest plan yet. He would sneak up on Tobi's volcano experiment during the school's annual science fair, in front of the whole school, the principal, and even the state education inspector who was visiting that day. His plan? Sneak up during Tobi's volcano experiment and pretend to accidentally knock it over, blaming Tobi for the mess. But here's the problem with big plans made by big heads and small brains. They rarely survive contact with reality. As Big Dome tiptoed towards the experiment table, gloating internally about his genius, he failed to notice one tiny detail. Tobi's volcano wasn't the usual baking soda and vinegar snoozer. Tobi, being the smartest kid in school, had built a pressurized foam eruption model, bigger, faster, and messier than anyone expected. The moment Big Dome's elbow accidentally bumped the table, the volcano erupted like it had personal beef with him. Bright orange foam exploded upward in a fountain, drenching Big Dome from head to, well, mostly head, since there was so much of it to cover. The entire auditorium erupted in laughter. Teachers laughed, students laughed, even the strict education inspector laughed so hard he had to sit down. Big Dom became Big Cone, someone shouted. And just like that, a new nickname was born, one that would follow him for years. Covered in sticky foam, humiliated in front of the entire school, Big Dom finally understood something important. All his power had come from fear, and fear evaporates the moment people stop being afraid. He looked at Tobi, expecting mockery. Instead, Tobi walked over, handed him a napkin and said, "You okay?" That simple kindness hit harder than any embarrassment. "Why are you helping me?" Big Dom mumbled. "I've been terrible to you."
Tobi shrugged. "Doesn't mean I have to be terrible back." From that day forward, something shifted. Big Dome returned every stolen toy. He apologized to Mama Ngozi, who almost fainted from shock, then gave him free biscuits out of sheer disbelief. He even carried Wisdom's backpack as an apology, not a punishment. Kids stopped running when they saw him coming. Instead, they started waving. And whenever new students asked why the biggest kid in school was suddenly the friendliest, the older students would smile and say, "Let's just say he had a change of head." The moral of the story? You can have the biggest head in the room, but real respect isn't taken with fear, it's earned with kindness. And sometimes, all it takes to bring down a bully is one small voice, brave enough to stay calm.